What's the funniest thing you've ever overheard? I was at a festival and some drunk girl walked past me talking on the phone and crying her eyes out saying I keep yelling Marco, but people keep yelling back Polo. At the movie Paranormal Activity, a girl behind me was constantly blurting out, "Did you see that?" Eventually the girl with her yelled fairly loud, "Bitch, we're watching the same fucking movie." Walking behind three somewhat chubby girls. One of them says, "Don't talk to me about fudge. We talked about fudge yesterday and look where that got us." In calculus, I heard two people debating whose answer was correct. One guy's answer was half, while the other's answer was 16/32. That's when I realized, I needed to switch classes. Was getting lunch at McDonald's and the news was on the TV nearby. They start talking about Obama and the elderly couple nearby hears it and chimes in with, "I can't wait till he is gone so we can get the next guy in." Who gives a shit, we probably won't even make it that long. It was so morbidly hilarious I couldn't keep myself from laughing and I am pretty sure they heard. At KFC, an overweight woman walked up to the counter and ordered a bucket of chicken. "Is that for here or to go?" "You think I can eat a whole bucket of chicken all by myself?" "I don't know your life, bitch." It's funnier to tell than to type because inflection is key on this one. I saw a dad putting his son, who looked to be about 2 or 3, in a high chair at a restaurant. The kid wasn't having it and gave his dad an exasperated look and said, "Am I a baby?" "Am I a baby?" I was in the books section of Walmart and overheard a guy yell into his phone, "If you spent less time with my cock in your mouth, then you'd have more friends." In college, how could 9/11 have been an inside job if the planes came from outside the building? How did you manage to get in here? Probably not the funniest ever, but the other day I walked into a gas station and the clerk was on the phone saying, in a tone that was obviously directed to a child, "Gavin, now you know your mother was joking when she said you had to sleep outside tonight." I heard a group of young girls talking about why boys are so stupid and gross. My laughter almost gave away my position under the bed. Once, when I was eating alone at my university's cafeteria, I overheard a conversation between about 5 black guys. One of them was describing this girl and said something to the effect of, "She got a real nice face, good body, she's smart as FK, but she ain't got legs." I thought to myself that that was a really superficial judgment, but as I continued listening, it became apparent that she actually didn't have legs, as in they had been amputated above the knee. Then they began discussing the advantages of this, as it allows them to get all up in dat pussy. Today I heard a teacher ask her health class what are some of the #1 health risks in America. One kid, you know, that kid, shouts diabesity. Totally serious. Made it even more hysterical. I walked by a table in a cafe once and overheard this. It was like a unicorn fucking a dolphin. I wish I knew the context of the conversation. At a movie theaters watching some scary movie and some drunk guys were being loud, and one scene comes and the main hardcore hears a noise in the middle of the night and decides to go investigate. One drunk guy yells out, "Just masturbate and go back to bed." Another time some girl was on the phone with her mom and she goes, "Mom, I need help, I just got my period and I have no pads." "A tea bag?" "I am not putting a tea bag up there." 2 guys were sat behind me on the bus one day. One of them worked in a school and told the other guy this story, paraphrased obviously. "I used to work at a school where they would put a red mark on a student's record when they did something good and a black mark when they did something bad." At the end of the school year, the white South African head teacher stood up in an assembly and said in his very strong accent, "There are far too many blacks in this school," while every member of staff tried and failed to keep their composure. Overheard on a street corner in Vegas, "If I catch him hanging around again, I'ma kill him, bury him in the desert, and eat corn on his grave." I tried to muffle my laughter while my wife shot me angry looks and hurried me along. In college, we were talking about going to a popular cliff jumping spot, when one girl said she didn't go there anymore, after she got hurt. Her friend asked what happened, and she leaned in to whisper, but did it way too loudly. She said she did a cannonball from about 30 feet up, landed genitals first, and exploded her pussy. Couple walking towards me one night while I was heading to a club. Guy was mid-rant, "I can deal with shitty art. I can put up with lousy music. I can even handle drug users and pushers, but I will not tolerate fluorescent lighting." Had me howling all the way and into the club. Okay, this one will need some translation from Australian essay. I was at a party as a 15-year-old, take note of the age, and overheard a fellow student getting hot and heavy with a guy, then say, "I'm up on blocks, but you can cut sick up my shitter if you want." Translated, "I have my period, but we can have anal if you want." Kids these days. Well, in 2001 my friends and I now always use it on each other for laughs. I was on the throne in my dorm bathroom one day, when 2 guys walk in to use the urinals. Now, These are weird women's urinals since this was a co-ed dorm way back. They're also separated like stalls, with doors as well. One guy says to the other, "Hey man, what it mean when yo DK burns when you pee?" To which the second guy replied, "I dunno. The water cools mine off." Took me half an instant to pick up on it, but it had me stifling laughter in the stall next to them. I walked in on the tail end of a conversation at the fire station one day just in time to hear my chief say, "And that's how I learned you can't light a cigarette with a shotgun." My husband and I live in the city center, so we get a lot of people walk past our flat, even in the evenings. One evening we were sat at home and a group of guys walked past our window. The conversation sounded relatively normal and then all of a sudden one of them shouted, "Go go gadget penis." Walking behind two guys walking towards the sunrise after a 8 a.m. class one day. Guy 1: "Man, the sun is really bright." Guy 2: "Yay, it feels like it's burning my rectums." Guy 1: "Yay. I'm honestly surprised at how many Americans there are here." Said by some English-speaking, non-American couple. But get this, we were in Hawaii, they're all Americans because it's a U.S. state. I was at a college baseball game and these college girls were in front of me. One looks to the other and says, no lie, like, "I wish they had something opposite of a microwave but instead made things colder." I heard two guys talking about birth control methods. The one guy said, "I just pee in her and quit. Makes her think I want a baby but there will be no baby." And that was the most racist child porn I have ever seen. So two things crossed my mind. 1. They were watching child porn in the elevator. 2. They have seen so much racist child porn that they can safely say this one was the most racist. Not the funniest, but just the one I could think of. On the bus home from work one time, a girl sitting in front of me talking to her friend said, "I get sad, like emotionally sad, when people cut down trees." In the lobby of an ice rink a group of hockey players were drinking beer and one of them kept insisting that he didn't want a DK in his ass, but everyone knows that an anal orgasm was the best kind. He followed up with, "Don't pretend you guys have never had a girl shove a couple of fingers up there while giving you an albor." His buddies were skeptical. The mothers with small children were not amused. I was laughing so hard I had to leave the room. I was laughing so hard. Years ago my friend decided to stretch his ear piercing using an old diaper pin. So they go into the mall washroom and into a stall to do it. So while I am waiting outside with people going in and out I hear, "Stop man, it's too big," to which the reply was, "You just need to stretch more here, let me use more lube." This is only funny in a WTF way. I was at a music festival last summer in Delaware, walking back to my tent around 2 a.m. when I overheard a commotion. This girl was trying to get this dude to calm down, then all of a sudden he yells in a frantic, distressed voice, "I f***ed my brother in the ass." And I liked it. I never told that to anyone before. He must have been f***ed up on something. Then I heard girl say, "Into what?" Must have been into a phone. "I need some help." Hess freaking out. Needless to say I didn't stick around, but it definitely left more questions than answers. At a religious college towards the beginning of the semester, I overheard a girl addressing her friends. "It's so wonderful, he proposed to me and I was still able to get all my tuition back." I was on a train a couple of months back, when the Ebola news was just beginning to get serious. I overheard two guys, probably about 30, talking to each other in front of me. I only heard this small snippet. Guy 1, "So, have you heard about this Tombola virus going around?" Guy 2, "Yeah mate, it's getting really bad. FK going to Africa." Good lord. First time I smoked out of a bong, my friends and I went to a Chinese takeout place. We were all far too high to go in and pick it up, so we played rock paper scissors. I lost. Walked in and the first thing I hear is a very large, very black woman yell, "Where's my chicken wangs?" Ran back out laughing and never got our food. This was kind of f***ed up, but was hilarious at the same time. I went to college in the Bronx, New York. I was walking to class with a friend of mine that was an attractive female. We walked past a group of kids and one of them says, and I quote, "I would FK the chick right in the ass." It is f***ed up because that kid was about 6 years old, and at that age my father would have punched those words out of my mouth, but God was it hilarious. I was on the bus one time to campus and overheard these two girls talking about eating butt. It was something along the lines of, "I started licking his butt and it tasted salty and weird." I was walking out of the theater after seeing Apollo 13. A girl in front of me turned to her date and said, "Oh my God, what if something like that actually happened?" Her date turned and looked at me with an almost apologetic look in his eyes. Veterans Day at TGI Fridays, and at the next table we overhear, "I ain't talking about no blue-eyed Jesus." The Jesus I'm talking about was black. And he had dreads, and he ain't no punk. He didn't listen to no pope. Grandpa, hush. We in a restaurant. We still quote that guy 3 years later. I heard these young punkish people planning a real orgy at a bar. Probably was going to involve cocaine. Pretty weird. I like as many DKS as possible in the room at once, said some girl, semi-facetiously. As I was walking into my friend's apartment building, one of his neighbors was trying to get out of a sticky situation, but baby, that isn't cum, it's only DK sweat. We were at a music festival once and a friend of mine looked at the girl next to him who was texting and read the words "It's like the time Bert motorboated my booty real good" on her phone. While watching Guardians of the Galaxy, the whole audience would laugh at the comical bits, then after everyone had stopped, this one kid would giggle. His dad kept saying, "Damn it, shut up." Not me, but my sister overheard a mother and toddler in Dublin, Ireland. The child was crying and the mother cracks a can and says, "Will you have a sup of coke, you dry bastard?" Some friends and I were talking about cigarettes, when DRM blacks came up. Right as our black friend walked in, the sentence, "Blacks? I fucking hate the blacks," was uttered. I once heard a woman in a bathroom asking her young son why he needed to remember to put down a sanitary paper liner on the toilet seat. He jumped in the air and loudly shouted out, "So we don't get butt germs." He was so happy and proud he knew that answer. "Bitch, I will kick you in the back of your forehead." I walked up to our front office the other morning and heard one co-worker say to another, "And you get a free bath with that." She was talking about doggy daycare. Setting, at ex-girlfriend's house visiting. She's now married with kids. Her husband is one of my best friends. Her husband is out, her aunt visiting. Her kid hears my voice and yells, "Dad, what took you so long?" X replies, "That's not your daughter." Aunt then whispers quietly, "But it could have been." I work in county clerk's offices all over Texas. Last spring I was in a courthouse in a very small town and overheard a couple come in and ask for a marriage license. The clerk looked at them both and said, "Now Bubba, I forgot his real name. You know you can't go off and marry your cousin in the state of Texas." After a lengthy conversation it turns out that they didn't even know they were related, as both sides of the family hadn't spoken in many years.